Welcome to This Week in Guns, a podcast that covers the latest commentary on the firearms industry, news, information, and buzz. Brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network. I'm your host, Chick Challen, president of FRN, and you make this show possible. That's right, you. Simply click through our Amazon affiliate link the next time you're shopping online, and a small portion of your sale goes to supporting pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. We have a great panel with us this week. We have Josh Cass, Four Guys Guns. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Jake. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
And we have John Patton, the Gun Collective and Patton Media Consulting. Hey, John.
Hi, Jake. How are you?
And your brand new show, the Gun Collective, what do you call it? The Gun Collective News?
Yeah, TGC News.
TGC News. Very cool stuff. 2 episodes out. And we'll talk a little more about that later. Eb's House of Guns and House of Arms. Hey, Ebs.
What up, Jake?
He's fired up. I like it. I like it.
Pumped. We got some new products coming out. Spoon.
You are
related stuff.
Have you been working out?
Somewhat.
The opening of the show is now Jake hitting on all of us. Get used to it, audience.
Hey, I got some really not uncomfortable compliments for you guys. Jake.
And we have Billy Johnson from Amidst the Noise. Hey, Billy.
Hey, Jake. How's it going, man?
Going great. I'm glad we have a serious personality on the show for once.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Patriot Patch Company make this episode possible. Head on over to patriotpatch.co and pre-order the Huckleberry Patch if you're a fan of Tombstone. It's a must-have for your range bag. And oh yes, the everyday carry spoon, which I'm sporting now. So, top stories this week: why do gunmen target churches and schools and not NRA meetings? And I have 3 companion stories tiered off of here. African American church defies president. Members carry guns to service for self-defense. Gun shop offers free concealed carry class for pastors in response to Charleston shootings. And top dim church shooting would have been worse if parishioners have been armed. Start with that last one. What do you think, Billy? You think it would have been worse if people had been armed?
Yeah, because give people a chance somehow makes it worse. I've never understood that argument at all. Like, if there, you hear this all the time. If there's a concealed carry permit, there's going to be some Wild West shootout. Well, you know what? I'd much rather have the option to save my life than not have the option to save my life. But I think with things like this, it shouldn't be any surprise. These aren't random acts of violence, right? These are people that have thought it's well thought out. You see with Lanza, with the kid in Santa Barbara, with this guy in South Carolina. I mean, these people planned this. They thought this out. So it shouldn't be a surprise to people that they, 1, pick areas where they know people won't be armed, and 2, pick areas where they know the shock value is going to be huge. It's going to get them some attention. It's going to get them some notoriety. And we see this time and time again. I mean, it feels like it's a broken record.
Well, and you're right. They do choose places where they know there's not going to be people armed. Didn't I see another story out there about this incident that this, terrible guy that shot this up? I'm not even going to say his name, but his buddies or something said, yeah, he had like a list of places he had a grudge against, and they think he chose the church because it was like a gun-free zone.
Well, they told him the week before. He told them he was going to do something. In fact, the one kid, he told them that he was going to go shoot up the college. I've always said there's 2 ways to stop mass killers. There's either through the friends and family, the people that know them the best, right? Like his friends, his family, people that they might leak the plan to, like Adam Lanza's mom, or someone that's in their life that should be paying attention to their life. But after they execute the plan, the only other way to stop it is with equal or greater force. Period. There's 2 ways to stop it. And it's unfortunate that his friends are going to have to live with that for the rest of their lives, that they didn't believe him. But I guess they believed him enough to hide his gun for a few days. So You know, there's basically two ways to stop those things. I mean, he passed a background check. You know, he wasn't on anyone's radar map.
I don't know. I feel like I look at a picture of the kid and I'm like, yeah, I would believe it. I would believe it if he told me he was going to do that.
Yeah, but you know what? How many kids out there look like that are just normal kids?
Or just
You know what I mean?
they're just ugly and they can't help it.
Well, I mean, I was a nerdy kid in high school. You know what I mean? I had friends that looked like that kid.
I know. I got to turn it off. That's sorry. Sorry.
I don't have a problem with it. Like I knew kids that looked like that in high school, and they were harmless. You know what I mean? There's a lot of kids out there that are just a little bit misunderstood, a little bit nerdy, kind of don't fit in with society, and you know, unfortunately, we can't blanket statement a kid like that or any other group. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't just mean a stereotype of like physically the way he looked, the way he dressed. He has like a countenance of like serial unhappiness just on his face. You know what I mean?
So I mean, quantify that statement though, or qualify that statement, Ebbs. So
no, I
those who
can't.
don't know,
I
Ebbs does
can't.
a lot of work with kids. You can. You absolutely can. Ebbs does a lot of work with kids. He sees a lot from all different backgrounds, whether they're troubled or not. So I mean, Ebbs is actually fairly qualified to say that I can look at this person and judging by X, Y, and Z, I feel this way about that person.
Well,
now, that may be adjusted because of what you already know about them. That was the point I was going to hop in.
Right. Because, well, if we're talking about friends, you become an expert unwillingly or without realizing it or not in those that are closest to you's nonverbal communication patterns. Okay? So it's not just the things that they say verbally, it's what are they saying outwardly through physical expression, countenance, what kind of energy are they putting out, like that kind of stuff. It all matters and it's all significant, and how many it only takes a little bit more effort to watch, because how many times have we heard people say, probably countless and almost on every occasion, I never could see them doing this. You know, they would never seem like they would do this, but they're at the same time there are always signs that this type of thing is a real reality.
But in some of the biggest cases over the last couple of years, there's been plenty of signs. I mean, the guy in Colorado, I mean, he was pretty clear with his psychiatrist.
Yeah. And they let him down big time.
Right. In Tucson, I mean, it was pretty clear. Here, I mean, there's pretty clear statements from his friends. Now, whether or not they thought he was serious or not, I mean, I don't know if he made those statements all the time. But saying I'm going to go shoot up a college and tell his other friend that he's been planning something for 6 months seems, I mean, you know, I think that's enough to call someone to do something.
Well, right. It's not.
Most people don't know what to do, though.
It's not just a fit of rage, right? It's not just like they get their feelings hurt, or a girl breaks up with them, or you know, they get bullied like one last time, and then all of a sudden just spout something off. I mean, this is the things that you're talking about. The statements that he made hinted to premeditated stuff that have been going on.
This person doesn't wake up. They don't wake up one morning and say, I'm going to go shoot up a church. Right. This is a slow slide away from society, and time again, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, someone that works with these types of people every day could come on the news and could tell us, hey, these are signs you should look for, right? There are telltale signs. No one.
But if we do that, then we have to give responsibility to a person instead of being able to blame things that we can't change.
Well, I'm not going to blame his friends. His friends, unfortunately, are going to have to live with that.
I'm not talking about his friends. I'm talking about the accountability of the one who did it, in terms of pointing back to him and not just saying, oh, it's a shame, he was misguided, instead of just saying, well, once again, somebody could, you know, get their hands on a gun who wanted to inflict harm. Instead of just saying that, and you know, the common sense statement is, he could have got his hands on any type. He could have walked in there with a samurai sword and hacked up just as many people in close proximity with him. You know, the weapon is not the argument. The argument.
I'm not taking any responsibility away from the perpetrator. What I'm saying is, if you want to stop mass killings, there's two ways to do it. Either the people that know that person the best, right? Because most of these people are not on police radars. They're not in background check systems, nor will they ever. I mean, the best way to stop them is the people that know them the best, their coworkers, their people that go to school with them, their friends, their family. That's the best way to stop them. If you want to stop it before the incident happens. Once the incident is happening,
I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that in order for that to happen, those are the things that we need to see following that type of thing. That's would be constructive ways for the media to spend their time, is finding someone credible to say, look, this type of thing happens, and we realize that things lead up to this. What are some things that people can be looking for?
Right.
That's what I'm agreeing with you in that aspect of it.
And there was a short time after Sandy Hook, CNN had a psychiatrist on, and it was like a 2-minute segment, and he said this, and that guy went away, and I never saw it on the news again, that there are signs to look for. It doesn't happen overnight. It could be weeks, months, years, someone going down that path. And
well, it's not sensational news, so it's involving personal responsibility, and that doesn't sell advertising.
Exactly.
That's really what the news is about. It's just a platform to advertise, and at least on mass media, I think.
Well, we shouldn't be looking for solutions in the media, but
right. But here's the other thing is, well, I'm not sure which one of you said it. You said that the kids didn't know what to do. They didn't want to believe that their buddy had this in him. You know what I mean? That's part of the educational thing that we also need to understand is, along the lines of having these psychologists, psychiatrists, all that kind of stuff come on these shows and get out in the media. I think we need to put, again, as per usual, put more people out there under educational guise and really drive this message home that, it's a mental health issue on a larger scale than we've ever seen before, and it's just tumbling every single day. And if we can go ahead and educate people on, what the issues are, what they could be, what the signs could be, then I think we'll be better off in the long run.
So there's a gun shop in Tulsa, Oklahoma that's offering local pastors free concealed carry classes to help them get their permits to carry.
Good old Oklahoma. It's awesome.
I wish I saw more of that.
And then the African American church that defies the president, members carry guns in service for self-defense. And the thing about this story is there's a video and there's a screenshot of, there's these people sitting in this church, and this one lady's got her gun like held up in the air, like here I am, I'm ready.
Like during the music, they're just firing off rounds up in the ceiling. So they get the Holy Spirit and they just start capping off. That's not funny. Sorry.
No, that's my kind of church.
Well, apparently it's not the Catholic Church, Jake. So.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. So, news and politics. Guns rarely used for self-defense in the U.S. There are 32 criminal homicides for every one justifiable shooting.
Yeah, there's a glaring mistake in that assessment. That
no, because the articles last year.
You're assuming to use the gun in self-defense, you actually have to kill someone. A lot of times in a situation where someone might be being attacked, merely showing the gun might make the perpetrator run away. So saying that you're just going to compare homicide rates is absolutely ludicrous.
Well, and how many of those people are you defend yourself and they're wounded, maybe severely, but they're not killed as a result of that?
Right. I mean, just comparing justified homicide to criminal homicides. I mean, you can't compare those two things and make make a statement that says, well, guns are used more in murders than they are in self-defense.
Well, it's also the same logic. The same people that think that's logical are the same people that go, well, there was this many gun violence events throughout the year, and it lumps in suicides and just like a negligent discharge and things like that. They just lump everything all in one, and they, it works for their story, so they use it.
Yes.
Gun
not for
deaths. They
nothing,
call
this
it,
time last year.
39,000 gun deaths or whatever the number they come up with, and right, they throw suicides in there.
This time last year, they said guns have never saved anyone or stopped any mass killings. So we're making progress. now it's rarely.
Haha.
We've been upgraded.
It's just selective journalism. Like,
Yeah.
Choose your own. What's the title of the video, Billy? Choose your own crime stats.
That is correct.
So good. So good.
Gay open carry group kicked out of gay pride rally due to psychological harm.
This was
What was it like being there?
It was tough. They they really just kind of ripped into us without warning. I wasn't there. But I had kind of wished this had been a full auto segment, Jake, because I was gonna pick it, and I was amazed at the bile.
Well, go ahead, Abs. Pick it. Call this one your own.
Well, no, now I don't care.
I don't even.
So the story that Jake is talking about is from The Truth About Guns, and there's a gay pride rally happening, and then a bunch of gay open carry activists. This is like the trifecta. The gay open carry activists march in, and then they're asked to leave for fear that they will cause psychological harm to everyone present that sees them brandishing a firearm on their person.
I feel like this is one of those moments when you see the clip of somebody's head exploding.
Well, and you know what's funny too is this is in Olympia, Washington, okay, which is the capital of Washington State, and so pretty bold move, to do that. But I don't know. Washington with their universal background checks laws they just passed and this stuff. I had thought of them to be more of kind of like a Western stronghold, and they're really proving to be more of a coastal state, really. Like we love you if you're gay, only if you don't like guns. So isn't that like the collision of a tolerance paradox?
I think that's like dividing by zero. The Earth is going to just open up.
Oh, it's extra special.
Well,
Jake, how do you not? You put the story in here. How do you not have more to say? These are your people, man.
Well, you see the groups like these, feminists and other groups that are all about their rights, but then when it comes to like a small niche segment of their group being pro-gun, well, you guys don't have you guys aren't us. You guys aren't us.
It's freedom, but
Mm-hmm.
you
It's
can
not rights
enjoy
for all.
freedom.
It's
but
rights that they care about.
Yeah, and
That's
we just said choose your own crime stats. This is choose your own civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
Is what this is.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent.
Self-defense tip: don't chase bad guys. And I actually had part of the story I had in a week or two ago, and we never covered it, but it was about a guy that I think it was in England, where he tracked his iPhone got stolen, and he used Find My iPhone to track his stolen iPhone, and he tracked the guys down that stole it, and he ended up getting shot and died. So this article in Truth About
Ontario.
Guns, or was it Ontario? Okay.
Ontario. Guns aren't allowed in England, right?
Okay. Well,
Aha!
Canada, England. I mean,
I don't know. God save
They're
the Queen.
illegal. They're illegal, so there's none there.
but I think this is a good article that maybe it's not such a good idea to take the law into your own hands.
Or
It's right out of Sun Tzu's Art of War. Don't chase a retreating enemy. I mean, it's right there. Just gotta read the book.
well, did the guy do this without a gun?
Right. He was.
Does that get better?
Well, no. I mean, if you're gonna take the law into your own hands, do it all the way.
Oh, geez, vigilantism. Here we go.
I know. I've been watching a lot of Arrow. So,
Oh, jeez. Don't watch Daredevil. That's all I need is friggin' Ed starting to hit people.
I finished that a long time ago.
Beast mode.
It's like Krav Maga superheroes.
How did you pronounce that?
Is it Maga? Is it Krav Maga?
I don't know.
I don't know. Syllables are weird.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about the Pope.
Let's talk about the Pope.
Weapons manufacturers can't call themselves Christians.
Because the guy who represents a child raping institution gets to call who is who as a Christian. Yeah, let's just applaud that.
Well, I don't know. I saw another article that said the translation on that was incorrect, and I don't know because someone translated that. So I've seen a few different translations. There's another one on Truth About Guns a few posts later that actually it wasn't worded that way. So because I don't know who to believe, it's kind of hard. I mean. But listen, I don't want any religious leader telling me about how to defend myself or what to think about the climate, or any other things that he's said in the last several weeks. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just glad I don't need. Never mind.
I mean, honestly, it's a matter of even if he said anything remotely close to that, the Catholic Church has been notorious for centuries for being oppressive and just an awful institution, with the exception of wholesome religious teachings, kind of part of their game. You know, they as a whole have been awful to human beings, and here this guy is talking about how, you know, you may or may not, you know, you're not a Christian or anything similar to that because you have a firearm. Get out of here. Get out of here. No way.
In the show notes, I just, for those who care, put a shortened link of the an image of the Vatican Armory. Just throwing that out there.
It's amazing. I want to go there.
So the same guy who says you can't be, I mean, just the hypocrisy alone should just null and void.
Now, this is complete hearsay because I heard it from someone else and I didn't have time to verify it on my own. But I heard someone that I consider to be credible say that there was ownership from the Catholic Church in Beretta.
That would not shock me in the least.
But like I said, I'm potentially spreading rumors unintentionally. However, there's also a very real possibility that the Pope doesn't even know that. They might not for long. So if anybody's looking to pick up some Beretta shares cheap,
right? They're going to divest like the California School Board did. Firearms companies. Okay, almost no one is complying with New York's assault weapon registry law.
Brilliant.
I'm sorry.
I think that's great.
Slow clap? Can we slow clap these guys?
Yeah, let's give it one. Let's do that.
I'm proud.
So officials recently shared registration statistics this week that show only 44,485 guns have hit the registry. Those weapons were voluntarily registered by a mere 23,847 owners. So on average, two people, or every person had 2 guns they registered, and they say that there should be more than 1 million so-called assault rifles in the Empire State.
So wait a second. How do they know how many there are if there is no registration currently?
Well, that's why they're doing a registry, so they know how many there are.
I think they based some of those numbers on what was registered in Connecticut, and then they took some population estimates and kind of tried to run some ratio numbers. So I think that's why they're coming up with that number. But I want to know, I mean, what good is a law if you're not going to enforce it, right? So, I want to know what's the next step. Is it knocking door to door? I mean, honestly, this is a huge finger right in your face, Albany. So, I mean, what's the next step?
Isn't this kind of the scary thing? Well, two things, two quick thoughts. One, the biggest problem with the laws that we have is A, they're unenforceable, or B, they're not being enforced. And then two, does this mean door to door? Is that what, if they haven't complied, then now you can expect a ring on the doorbell, and if you don't answer, they come crashing through looking for them.
Well, supposedly you
Show
have
me the SWAT
sheriffs in
team
some
that wants to-
counties that have just decided to completely ignore it altogether.
Right.
Well, what about city police, though? Because I know they're not always on the same page. You have a sheriff that's elected. You have a police chief that is appointed.
Yeah, well, I think what would happen here is you're going to see prosecutors when someone, someone shows up at their officer shows up at their house for maybe it's a burglary, right? They're not home, so the officer enters the house, finds an assault rifle, and runs it and realizes it's not registered. Now you're going to see that hammer drop on that person. You're going to see that prosecutor prosecute them. So I think that's what you're more likely to see. I think that's where you're going. I mean, come on, they can't go door to door. I mean, they could, but I think we all agree that would be pretty stupid.
Find a SWAT team that would sign up for that, honestly.
Right.
I mean, I don't know any cops that would stack up on a door because they're going to go confiscate guns.
Yep.
But I think you're much more likely to see prosecutors just dropping the hammer on people.
Yeah.
Right, like Massachusetts does that to people. Oh, you got broken into, and while we're in there taking evidence, we're just going to make sure we take all your guns, too, because we don't even know if this is okay.
God forbid you defend yourself.
Dim hopeful O'Malley doubles down on gun control. So, I don't know. I'm not into the politics or anything, but isn't it kind of my impression right now is that it's O'Malley or Hillary on the Dim side, right? Are those like the two, or am I wrong about that?
I think it's just Hillary, in my opinion, but
well,
he could give her a good run. I hope he talks about it. I want him to talk about it. Let's see how radical he can get with. I mean, wanting to, hopefully he'll say he wants to repeal the Second Amendment. That's what I want to hear him say.
Right, because he's running on a completely anti-gun platform. He's saying that he's super proud of his F rating with the NRA and so on.
Yeah, well, what imbeciles like this don't understand is that they continually push for more laws against a constitutionally protected right and therefore are undermining the entire Constitution. So if he doesn't like the Second Amendment, he should push to repeal the Second Amendment. Otherwise, he's just tearing apart the Constitution one law at a time. And, these people are going to continually hide behind their gun laws that don't do anything, when really what they want is to repeal the Second Amendment. Truly deep down, I think that's what a lot of these people want to do, but they're afraid to say it. So I hope he does make this an issue. I'd like to see him talk about it more, and hopefully he'll put his foot in his mouth.
All right. These two maps completely destroy everything liberals say about gun control, and so they're not the best pixels per inch.
Oh my lord!
But,
is this another Brady map?
So it's 2012 voting. It's maps of the U.S. with 2012 voting patterns of Obama and Romney compared to FBI statistics for gun violence from 2011, and they're both blue and red maps. Red being Republicans on the voting pattern, and then red being the lesser incidences of gun violence, and blue being the higher density of gun violence. And oddly enough, the blue...
We're voting to die! Yay! That's what it looks like.
Right. Oddly enough, the blue that voted for Obama also has the highest incidence of gun violence.
Well, it's like my video. I mean, the murder rate doubles in metropolitan areas of 250,000 people or more, which tends to be our cities, and most of our cities tend to vote blue. So it's natural that I think both of those maps would completely coincide with one another.
What is it about massive groups of human beings that causes them to become sheep?
Well, yeah, I won't answer that.
I'm honestly curious. I don't understand why that happens.
Laziness, happiness of letting someone else make decisions and take responsibility for yourself on your behalf. Safety in numbers. So, okay, they tell me they're going to do this. Like-minded, I can be entertained and allow my mind to go off into la la land, and I don't have to concern myself with really important things. And I'm listening. I know Billy has to talk here. Like, I feel like he needs to say something.
No, well, first of all, I mean, most of those people weren't necessarily voting for gun control. They were voting for Obama, and
Right.
both of those elections, it wasn't like one of his major stumping, policies per se. I mean, we all know that he's definitely pro-gun control, but so most of those people weren't necessarily voting for gun control. But I think the better question to ask is, why do we have higher rates of crime in our cities? And there's lots of reasons why. I mean, one is gang violence, and gangs, they're fighting over turf war, typically turf war to sell their drugs, which is predominantly where most of our violence comes from. It shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. There's also proximity issues. I mean, there's something to be said. I mean, look at how our rate of violence goes up so much in cities when you put people together. It's kind of an interesting study, and I'm not the person qualified to lead that study, but, I mean, you could ask yourself, is the human race really designed to be put into small spaces? It's kind of something interesting there that I haven't really heard anybody talk about. Because people say, well, these, areas of poverty where all this violence is happening. Well, there's poor rural areas too, right? There's just as many people on government assistance in some rural areas as you have in some urban areas. So you can't really say that that's, we have high rates of crime in economically disadvantaged areas because it doesn't coincide to rural areas as well. And so there's a lot there. It's very complex. It's not a simple issue.
Right.
We're not going to tackle it.
Well, maybe the issue is not only poverty, but also poverty and shoving people into small spaces, like you were hinting at. Maybe that is part of a large part of the catalyst for violence.
I think I just want to clarify something there. I'm not saying that poor people have higher rates of violence. What I am saying is that I do believe in certain urban areas that criminals have realized that they can take advantage of poor areas, right? Because they don't have the resources that wealthy areas have. They know they can control those areas. So I think it's really important to say there are very good people that live in poor areas of this country that are not criminals. Criminals know they can take advantage of those areas. They know they can operate with impunity in those areas. And so I think that's I'll stop there because I could talk about that stuff for hours.
Well, I think we can all agree that what we really need is another social program that just gives air conditioning to all these people. And then we're going to see things improve a lot.
And the iPhone 6.
Yes.
6S. Come on, 6S.
Yeah.
Plus.
Come on, next gen.
Oh, it's the 6 Plus. Okay, sorry.
6 plus S squared is what's coming next.
All right, high schools. We talked about a similar story a few weeks ago. High schools, this time in Minnesota, Target Shooting Group has a new model here, and have three different links here. Clay target shooting in Minnesota, the hot high school sport.
Wasn't it Wisconsin the last time?
I think it was Montana. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the northwestern middle.
It started with an M. So
Yeah. So confusing. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see how the clay shooting sports are exploding at the high school level.
It's super fun and it's super satisfying, right? I mean, hitting a moving target and then watching that target disintegrate if you hit it well. And for one of my favorite things to do to introduce new shooters, and that's one of the things that I'm completely passionate about, is introducing children safely and responsibly to handling of firearms and then proficiency in firearms, is being the confidence that it builds to be able to hit a moving clay target with a shotgun, even something that has a spread pattern to it, is not to be underestimated in terms of spreading love for Second Amendment shooting sports, all of the above. It's very, very, very powerful. So it's awesome to see. We have out here, there are a few high schools out here that have clay teams, and then Colorado State University in Fort Collins has a huge clay team. And so, then they're divided into trap groups and skeet groups, and I've shot 3-gun with some of those guys, and they're all just fantastic advocates for the gun world, Second Amendment. It's very cool.
Awesome. Good to hear. New Frontier Armory is teasing a 9mm Glock mag AR lower at a budget price. That's right. Budget price is $169 MSRP.
What are all the other 9mm lowers going for? Are they like $200 and $300 rifles or lowers?
Yeah, they're like $300. Like Circle Quarter 10 is in the 300
5.
range.
Some of them are way up there.
Wow. Okay, so that's why this thing is important. I saw it in there, and I'm like, okay, it's not super new, but what it is the price point. I mean, and it's complete. They're shipping them complete. You know, that's a big point here. You know, a lot of times you buy a lower for like $300, and then you got to put all these parts in it. This is ready to rock. That's really interesting.
I
Is
wish.
it polymer? No, it's machine billet. Now I'm really interested.
Yeah, so they New Frontier. Really? Yeah, New Frontier just started doing milled stuff. We have a little bit of experience with the side charging uppers, and they need to beef up their the outside sort of bolster area of that, where the side charging happens, because we've seen some weakness in that. But the lower, the milled lower, the billet have turned out to be really nice. So this is really cool. One thing I wish they did was I wish the mag release for the Glock mags was contained. So if there was a way, because I don't know, I don't feel like it looks as clean on the outside like that. But it for the price, who cares?
That sure doesn't look milled to me. Is that milled? Oh, I guess it could be.
The description says.
Nevada expands concealed carry permit reciprocity. And yeah, I'm having like a good reciprocity story one after another. We recently had Ohio accepting Illinois permits, and now Nevada does. Along with, I don't know, 24 other states.
Yeah, well, I'm still waiting. It's the United States of America, right? United. Just kind of feel that there's still a handful of states that I can't go with my carry permit.
Yeah, and apparently Nevada, you might want to check your state in the list here, because for Idaho and North Dakota there is a couple different types of permits, and Nevada only accepted, I guess, I don't know, one type. So they now accept both types for those states.
Maybe the whole country will be constitutional carry some point in our life. I'm still having my fingers crossed for that.
We can hope. Puerto Rico just went constitutional carry.
Really? That's one of those places that you don't really hear a ton about their gun laws or gun stats. just because people just don't really know what to think about Puerto Rico. I'm pretty sure that most people still think it's a completely separate country in its own way, and we're not tied to it.
So yeah, there was a class action lawsuit, I guess, that challenged various parts of Puerto Rico's gun law, and the court just declared it unconstitutional, and so by default, it kind of throws them into a constitutional carry district or whatever you call it.
I think I saw a stat last night that said, in terms of comparison of Washington, D.C., in terms of firearm homicide, to Puerto Rico, D.C. is like 16 per 100,000. Billy, help me with this if you have it off the top of your head. And
I don't have every state memorized.
No, not Puerto Rico, but the D.C. was like 16 per 100,000, and Puerto Rico is like 26 per 100,000.
Well, there's other places like Gary, Indiana, is something like over 80 per 100,000. It's one of the highest in the country.
Oh, it's gotten bad since Michael Jackson left.
It's been bad for a long time.
It's one of those places you drive by on the highway, and you just look at it and go, "Yeah, that place sucks."
You know what? I hope somebody from Gary, Indiana sends Jake hate mail this week.
Oh, they will.
I hope so too.
And he forwards it on to us, blaming us.
I already know I got hate mail coming from Canada for mixing them up with England. So
I mean, how?
Seriously, there's no.
PTR Industries gets default notice for missed rent. So PTR Industries, remind me who they are again. They make the H&K clones, right?
Yep.
Crickets. Okay.
Sounds like if they're missing rent, they're in a little bit of trouble.
Their guns are very expensive for what they are. A lot of people don't understand why that gun might be cool or ready to have. And a lot of guns, these types of things, these types of firearms did not explode as much as AR-15s did during the last huge explosion of sales. So, I mean, yeah, I'm sure it went up, but I'm not sure that it sustained like ARs did.
Were they pricey? I thought they had okay price points.
Well, it's a matter of price for availability of components compared to like what John is saying, the AR platform, the price with massive availability of components. Like the G3, for instance, one of their biggest ones, the HK clone, it hasn't taken off. Now, it's like people don't realize you could get G3 mags. John, what can you get like surplus G3 mags for like $5 from Midway or something like that? They're insanely cheap. And since even in the past couple of years, there have been a couple manufacturers that are making like an AR-10 style rifle that actually takes G3 magazines. And so there are pluses to it, but it didn't launch. It didn't take off. And so even though they're viable quality clones, it says it's more than just like a little bit of rent. It says here in the article it is $73,000 in overdue rent.
Yeah, I think I almost wonder if this had something to do with lack of exposure and lack of good marketing, because ask 10 gun owners on the street what a PTR is, and they don't know. It's not one of those brands that it resonates with people. You have to go put it in front of them.
But if you ask them what like a Set Me or a FAL is or something like that,
right? You'll get, oh yeah, I think I saw that in Call of Duty or something. You know what I mean? Like PTR was not that lucky.
And sadly, it's one of the only HKs I actually want.
Right,
dude. Honestly, so they make a 7.62 by 39 semi-auto that looks, it's the same style HK clone, and it's freaking awesome. Their guns are super well built. They're nice and clean, and I've shot them, and they shoot really well. So, I mean, it's not like they're not making a good product. Their product is good, but it just didn't really get out there.
Drop in military sales forces Surefire to lay off some employees.
I'm surprised we haven't seen this happen to more companies that really, increase their sales tremendously with both Afghanistan and Iraq wars. I'm just surprised it's happened with Surefire because they do have such a popular and well-known brand. I thought you'd see it more with the companies that weren't strong in the civilian markets, like a Blackhawk, who did a tremendous amount of contract work for the military, but their civilian brand recognition was pretty weak, and they never spent a lot of time really building that. When, Surefires, they're super well known.
They're super good products too.
Yeah, they make good stuff. So
I'd be really interested to see how many people they hired initially in that rise on the front end of all of this. Is this just resizing back to where they once were before they hired a bunch of people to deal with that demand?
Yeah, it's like seasonal employment, like you have around
just way longer, like
holidays.
10 years.
Exactly.
It's a real struggle, though. A lot of companies are having this problem, but I think you're seeing it more with the companies that really have the weak branding, and there's quite a few of them out there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Especially in the soft goods market, especially in the textiles.
They're another company that.
Nothing. I was going to make an Uncle Mike's joke there, but go ahead.
I want to hear what Whitey's trying to say here.
It's just something that we've seen time and time again. And you look at your Colt, you look at your Daniel Defense, you look at Surefire, and these are all companies that were very heavy on government contracts and very little focus on that private sector, so to speak, or commercial sales, consumer sales. And I think Surefire is in a good position to actually correct that before it gets too bad. I think it's along the lines of what John's saying. Maybe they're just dialing back to kind of recalibrate. I don't think they're really in trouble, because they do make a solid product. And just like anything else that has a high price point, the consumer needs to understand why it's at that price point, and that takes more marketing, more media, and that budget's got to come from somewhere. And I don't know. I swear by it. I think it's the best lights that I don't even own. I think more than 2 lights that aren't Surefire. Just about every single one actually right now functioning. Every weapon light I own is a Surefire. What I'm carrying right now in my pocket is a Surefire. It just sucks because people look at that price shock and they're like, oh, well, I can go get an Enforce for.
But the competition's heavy. There is a lot of really popular, inexpensive lights that people are drawn to, and I think that, especially the light market. There's just been a tremendous amount of companies entering that space, and
so that makes a good point, because Josh, you mentioned a couple other names in there. You mentioned Colt, you mentioned Daniel Defense, and we're seeing maybe a similarity in the play. Just guns. It's the gear of. Here we're talking about lights, stuff like that, where you have more recently, and it's extremely affordable, regardless of proven dependability or being that if you get the right name, we'll buy it.
Did anyone get any of that, or?
Ebbs, your connection is like a hamster on a wheel that gave up.
Okay, never mind.
Sorry, man. I wanted to hear that too. So yeah, I think what I did get from that, Ebbs, I think. Again, they all had money rolling in for years based on. And I think they're willing and want to adapt to the new market, because at the end of the day, they are a business. They have an accounting department. They're looking at P&L. And anybody who wants to be able to stay alive at this point that was a government contract, as that market is drying up, they're looking for a new revenue stream. And maybe they change things now that they're not a contracted company. Maybe prices do come down. I don't think that the materials or the cost or the CAD or the programming for a Surefire break, for instance, for $125, $150, it still needs to pay for itself. I think they've sold so many of those that maybe Now that they don't have, the need to sell it at X price point, if they're losing that contract, they can chop it. I mean, look at people are paying what, $95 for a land tack Dragon. To go an extra $35 more, or an extra $30 more, you can get the Surefire the land tack is modeled after, and it's a quick disconnect for a suppressor. So I mean, it's there, and just people making that leap. They need to help the consumer market understand that leap.
You mean it's
and that's all it really takes.
It's not a completely original design? That's where I got hung up. I got way distracted by that.
I mean, it's really just a matter of going out and educating people. And we talk about this all the time when we just have conversations about marketing and how that kind of stuff happens. These companies need to make an effort to educate people because the market is not going to allow people to just sit back and have money come in. It doesn't work that way anymore.
But when you're a contractor and when such a huge percentage of your business is coming from contracts and you've ignored the market that you have to educate, a lot of companies have a hard time finding the money to do that because they hadn't been putting the money in that. I mean, it costs money to find customers. It costs money to educate customers, and especially if you're trying to launch a new product line. I mean, anything that people aren't familiar with is going to cost a lot of money to educate people. So I think a lot of times, and I know some other companies that they've been hit very hard because they ignored the consumer markets big time over the last 14 years. And now they're just trying to build their brands. And meanwhile, there's been a ton of other companies out there that have been ignoring the government contract market, and they've been building their brands. And a lot of big companies are trying to figure out how to play catch up. And man, I think we're going to see more of them tumble. And what's a shame is they all have great branding. Colt, right? I mean, look at the name, Surefire.
There's a heritage, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's hope they turn it.
So this is an Enforce Light, but I do have Surefire batteries in it. So.
Ooh.
The Enforce handhelds aren't that bad.
There's my Surefire
lights. The pistol lights are definitely just. I have no problem with saying they're junk.
Senator calls on Walmart to stop selling assault weapons amid flag debate. So I have a couple
assault weapons.
Other articles in here about the Confederate flag debate, and
I didn't know Walmart sold machine guns.
Yeah, can you buy M249 saw at Walmart or Select Fire M4A3 at Walmart? I didn't know that those were available there over the counter.
No background check required. It's a self-service, like they're on a rack.
So yeah, this is and I probably should have put this up with the other Charleston shooting articles, but so yeah, he's calling for Walmart to pull its AR-15s, even though the firearm used in the shooting was a Glock 41 handgun with no ties to Walmart. Makes sense,
people
right?
are seizing on the opportunity.
Logic.
It's amazing.
What? I like how the justification was based entirely on they don't want to sell things that are offensive, and that they have the clairvoyant ability to channel the one thing that's going to be offensive to everyone, or some nonsense like that, where I can walk through Walmart and be offended at, like XX yoga pants or something like that, and say, why are you selling this? Why is that's not okay? And it just, because it's totally, that mentality of offense is completely arbitrary and subjective to each individual person.
You know what? I'm offended by the fact that Walmart doesn't ever have more than 3 cashiers working at one time. Can we change that? Can we do something like that?
Perfect.
I second that.
Superstore masks.
There's about 40 checkout lines, right? And there's like 3 people.
And then they've done this massive con. I gotta tell you guys about this. I don't know if you've seen the self checkout, that shenanigan. So That is the biggest trick on consumers ever. Our employees are not efficient, so you do it yourself. Goodbye. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I love it.
Self-checkout will be awesome when you can just put it in the cart and push the cart out the door, and it just automatically charges you.
Oh my God, that'd be brilliant! Oh yes,
That's like Apple Pay's Big Brother.
I thought it already does that. That's what I've been doing.
No, you've been shoplifting.
That's how your Amazon store's growing. Yay. Look at you.
Oh boy. That's why people were chasing me.
Be careful, they might come take your assault rifles out of your house.
Uber driver robbed at gunpoint 2 weeks after company disarmed drivers.
I love this article. This article is the epitome of everything that is wrong with gun control. So we actually covered that story several weeks back where the Uber driver in Chicago literally stopped a mass shooting, hopping out of their car using concealed carry. And then you have them changing their position, drivers no longer allowed to carry, and this person got robbed for $60 on 67th Abs. I can't stop thinking of you, Abs. On 67th Ave in Queens with a rifle in New York.
A rifle.
So Chicago, completely terrible, awful with gun control, changes some things. Uber driver saves the day. On the other hand, New York, just completely coming down harder and harder every time, remove the ability to carry for the company you're driving for, get robbed at gunpoint. It's like we now have the perfect microcosm of here's what not to do.
But wait a second, I thought owning rifles in New York City was illegal.
Well, if it's registered. I couldn't do it with a straight face.
Registered at home, unloaded, and locked at all times.
Oh, and you have to. I thought they put something. You got to put a beacon on your roof.
I want to say to people, I want to say to anyone listening that it's a choice to disarm yourself. Okay, this is these policies. I mean, you can face the repercussions of your employer, quote unquote, or be banned from an app or something like that. But if you choose to be disarmed, then you will be disarmed. But and this, I can talk about this again in the full auto news, Jake, when we get there about the Domino's driver. But this is senseless. It doesn't have to be that way. Oh, you tell me that I can't conceal carry when I drive for Uber? Well, it's my car, and I'm letting strangers into it, so I'm going to have a gun on me. And if I need to use it or if I need to defend myself, I will. And if I can't drive for you again, then I'll get over it.
Well, yeah, saving your life is more important than your job.
Exactly.
So if you actually defended yourself, right, against company policy, you actually defended yourself, and then the company goes, and fires you, fine, fire me. I just saved my life.
Right.
I don't want to work for you.
I'm alive to be fired.
I'm choosing not to be a victim.
This to me falls in line with the choice when you go into a place that says no guns and you walk in with a concealed carry firearm, because that's, if you choose to do that against, their wishes and things like that, it's the same thing. You're taking.
They're not following the law anyway. They don't post it properly.
Right. Well, there's that, and the fact that you're in the same vein as this. You're choosing to defend yourself over the repercussions of carrying a firearm in that establishment, and I think it's the same thing. And I encourage people to carry everywhere.
You can now contribute to the Firearms Radio Network and This Week in Guns by shopping with our Amazon affiliate link. Please click through our Amazon banners on our website or bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon to support pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. We are to the full auto news segment, stories the real media won't talk about, and other crazy stuff. This is where each of the hosts picks a story or two, or 3 or 4 in Eb's case, to call their own.
Only 2.
Only 2? Okay, Ebs, go for it.
Okay, first one is if you are in the vicinity of Georgia, the Walking Dead casting is looking for responsible and experienced gun owners to film an episode. So, which sounds like a ton of fun.
I've been practicing my chicken wing stance and
Like-
my backwards red dot sight.
You know what?
For this scenario.
You could be part of the solution, or you could be part of the problem, Jake. So choose to contribute or participate however you feel necessary. Okay. But anyway, that's in the show notes. It's on listed on the Firearm blog, and they've got contact information, and you can help. You can help assure that the person who's carrying an AR-15 actually has a rear sight. Okay. And then the second one, real quick, is related to a Domino's delivery driver in Hollywood, Florida, who was coming back to the shop late at night, and he was confronted by a couple of robbers. And it does it say? It's not entirely clear. I believe it's both suspects, both of the robbers were armed. They were wearing ski masks. He shot one guy dead, unloaded 6 rounds right into him. The other guy took off. And it's interesting because Domino's has a no concealed carry policy for its employees, which is interesting to begin with. It's like they immediately think, whenever a company does this, they immediately think, oh, good, we're preventing shootings. But you're sending your drivers, especially delivery drivers, into strange places like people's homes, whatever, all over town, any of these addresses within your vicinity, and then you're basically saying, we don't want you having the potential to defend yourself. Well, this guy did anyway. He's not named in the article, but he opened fire, and there was actually, this is on the Blaze, and there's a local news station, NBC Miami, that's covering it, and they have a couple witnesses who heard the shots and saw what went down and stuff, and so I think the guy is pretty well vindicated, but it's interesting to hear one way or another what Domino's is going to do. The guy saved his own life, and there was a woman there, another employee who was there and witnessing it also, so the guy sounds like he did the right thing. It'll just be interesting to see if Domino's is like, well, we told you, you should be dead right now. You would still have a job, but you should be dead. Or
we would honor you with pizzas.
Right. Your family will get free Domino's for life. That's all I have, Jake. So finish your water.
All right, John.
So I saw this the other day when I was scrolling around on the Facey space, and it's a guy from Fox News. So they're in like a city environment, and there's like a steel Timber Sports, the company that makes chainsaws. There's like they do the competitions, and I guess the news anchor wanted to be a part of that, so he's gonna throw an axe, and no big deal, but it just so happens that there is a small little drum corps on the other side of this, and he launches an axe over top of the target. It bounces off the ground and hits one of the guys in the arms. And, it's not like it's a rubber axe. He's throwing a real axe, and he totally just about chopped the guy's arm off, and it was hilarious and amazing, and I don't know, it's just great.
Well, isn't it great that he's really close to it? I mean,
look at the backstop for it. I mean, the whole thing is just an accident waiting to happen. I mean, it's like out on the sidewalk, and there's people behind it, and it's an inexperienced guy throwing an axe with people all around.
Yeah. What are they doing behind that?
You see the guy's expression? He covers his mouth and runs away. He doesn't even go around to see if he hurt the guy.
Right, and then they immediately cut to a clip of the guy's drumming, and the dude who got hit is in the background, holding his arm, looking for a Band-Aid or something.
While the other guys keep going with the song.
They don't miss a beat. I mean, my guess is this was there for pros to demonstrate, and they were like, ha, it'll be funny if you come on here. And
Can we get our anchor on? This would be a great shot.
This would be the producers. Yeah, this would be great. Let's get him on. He could totally throw an axe and not kill anybody on the other side.
Well, the best is he does it two-handed, like my 9-year-old daughter, who has a hard time getting an axe to the target 10 paces away with one arm.
Well, you know. No, go ahead.
No, I was done.
Okay. Well, you know, the drummers, they gotta keep drumming. You know, they gotta live up to what was it? The Foo Fighters lead singer that broke his leg and kept.
Yeah, Dave Grohl.
He
performing?
sits down and finishes the set.
I just want to, you know, on the off chance that one of these drummers is listening, you will never be as cool as Dave Grohl. Don't even try. Sit down if you get hit by an axe.
Oh, so good.
Good stuff. Okay, Josh, what do you have? Muted.
Oh, I know. I know. I have to hover around the button to find it. They took all like the serious ones, so like me and Billy are left with like a guy humping a gun and.
Which is right up your alley.
And I considered and noted. So because Billy's a much more respected member of the community than I am, I'm going to go ahead and stick with my cock and bull that I usually do. But I'm going to take the swanky Bell 525, and let me tell you, it's exactly what I want in life. If I could have a Bell 525 that is pimped out like these, I would never drive anywhere. Honest to God. I would build helipads everywhere. And
What's a Bell 525?
It's a luxury
it's a
helicopter.
Freaking wicked good helichopper, kid.
Kid, don't you know?
So the inside of these helicopters is what I want to do to like a Black Hawk. I would like a candy red Black Hawk metallic, and I would like the inside to look like, especially this black and chrome with white leather interior. Oh my God, it's like
What's the next episode exhibit? Tell me more.
a remote control helicopter that I fly inside of my helicopter because I like helicopters.
Oh, so
Helicopter dog. This you can't stop it, Ebbs. Stop. You're making me blush.
These things look amazing, honestly.
It's like they took Airwolf and made a Bentley.
Yeah.
No,
I don't
I'm
know
going
what to
to
say
for that.
It does. I don't even know, like, how do they fit all that in there?
Just how do they get it in there?
Dude, they have like evil throne chairs.
It's like a limousine chopper.
It's like the Emperor from Star Wars. You know, said, "Yes, make it red and black." I mean, keep going down. Scroll. Look at that. It's like a Maybach helicopter. It's crazy.
Looks like the one that's not all super done up looks like it has 16 seats in it. So if that
right. But
like
super done up, you get a couch. You get a sectional couch and 2 recliners, and a coffee table and a dance floor.
All right,
I'm not
Billy.
dancing in a helicopter.
All right, Billy, what do you have?
Well, this happened in New Jersey, so I just want to start with that. New Jersey senior wasn't allowed to graduate with the rest of his class, wasn't allowed to be there, get his diploma, because apparently the seniors planned on having a prank. They were all going to go out and get water guns during the middle of school and come back and squirt the water guns in school. Well, the teachers got word of this, and so they put the school on lockdown to keep the kids from coming in with their squirt guns, right? Okay, we're going to run a lockdown drill to prevent kids with squirt guns. And the principal or someone said, you know, don't open the doors. And after one of the kids, the kid that wasn't allowed to graduate, actually opened the door and let some of the kids in with the water guns. So they said it wasn't going to graduate with them because this prank didn't have it didn't have parameters for safety. You know, there's a safety concern, and what the principal say here. It was one of those things that we did to make sure nobody slipped and fell or got hurt unintentionally. Are you kidding me? Really? I mean, this is what school has come to. Now, when I was in high school, we had water balloons like all the time. I mean, it was just like an every day, you know. It wasn't even like, you know, the last day of the year. It was like, you know, you were out in the basketball courts, you'd get hit with a water balloon and everyone would just laugh and shrug it off. You'd probably go to jail for that now. But it's not so much that this was a gun issue as this just was a safety issue. They didn't want anybody to slip and fall. But then the athletic director, who was the only person that really got shot, was actually yelling, "Everybody shoot me!" So at least there's some good comedy there that someone knows how to take the prank, and
good old athletic director.
yeah, didn't have his panties all bunched up there, like apparently the principal did. So just another overreaction in our public schools.
I hope he was wearing, when he said that, I hope he was wearing those really short, like, softball coach shorts.
With the high socks.
Yeah.
He'd be wearing corduroy OP shorts.
Yes.
Corduroy. Corduroy shorts.
Corduroy. Oh, that's good.
At some point, we cue Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror, and New Jersey's going to have to take a good hard look and look at what it's become, because this is pretty damn stupid. And if anyone thinks for a second that you are denying a kid his graduation from high school walk and diploma on a stage that he's put up with high school alone because of a slipping concern,
because he opened the door. It was just because he opened the door.
Yeah, he's not even the kid that was doing it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's probably the kid who puts out the Octung slippery floor sign at his job at the grocery store. So it's like, does anyone even buy this? New Jersey's disgusting. That's why it's the armpit of the United States.
Hey, I say that too.
Hey, I live near New Jersey, and
that's because you look down on everyone from Colorado.
Here's the quote too. He says, "The students involved in the prank did not secure a safe set of boundaries."
What does that even mean?
It's a squirt gun war. What's the safe set of boundaries? I'm not going to beat you over the head with the squirt gun. I mean,
they're supposed to submit a formal request with all safety parameters of a prank 2 weeks before said prank.
And we all know, like, what do squirt guns look like nowadays? They couldn't look more different than a real gun, right? Like, super soakers look nothing like a real gun, right? There shouldn't even be any confusion with that.
They're mag-fed these days, Billy. I'm not even kidding. You have an ACOG-fed little reservoir, and a mag release exactly where it's supposed to be.
Well, that's a problem. They're all high capacity nowadays. No regulation.
You should click on the picture, because there's a picture of the kid there holding what looks like a Buck Rogers laser zapper squirt gun that's white, orange, red, and looks like it's from like the 1950s.
So, that's one of those guns that runs out of water after like 4 shots anyway.
Well, at least he was...
Hold on, guys. I want to fill it up.
At least he was, carries a bucket around with him to dunk it into. At least he was still allowed to graduate, because I love his sense of humor, because the picture on the article is him standing next to what looks like a sliding glass door at his house with the decorations, and he's actually holding the water gun with a smile on his face, like, "Ha, idiots! I still got to graduate. I didn't have to wear my cap and gown."
I would just like to point out,
he didn't get arrested.
So, as a kid, now this is to show you the progression of kids. So, me being a kid that grew up in rural Pennsylvania, and seeing movies from time to time, I took a super soaker and filled it with hairspray and turned it into a flamethrower. So, let's really be concerned about slipping.
How much in hairspray was that? Pretty expensive?
I don't know. It was like 10.
Was it Aquanet? Did you use
Aquanet? No. This was like the liquid, the pump stuff that you used to get.
Yeah, so
just pour that thing
the lid off and dump it out.
Right, yeah.
I didn't realize there was enough alcohol in that kind to be able to do that. I figured it would like the aerosols are the ones that you'd have to try and get in there.
Oh, yeah, brother.
And next week on Anarchist girl in high school would empty those out, and she would fill them with vodka.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, he would even think twice, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Did she use the vodka as hairspray? Is that what you're trying to say? Or
she get abs through her scalp?
No abs. She was drunk by like the 3rd period.
I get it. It's a great story.
The teacher comes by, she's swinging a thing of Suave. Like, wow, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. It's good for my teeth.
Really, you should try it.
All right, so we're going to Pennsylvania again. Pittsburgh, a bomb squad blew up a briefcase and other suspicious items. So a man went into a bank to rob it. He had a box, and he showed the teller some wires hanging out of his shirt and demanded cash. Well, he drove off in his white Toyota and was later pulled over by police, who found money in a garbage bag. And beneath the front passenger seat, they found the device Stein is accused of having used in the bank robbery. A makeshift box he made out of a box, a black with black tape, a vibrator, and a cell phone.
What kind of I don't understand, Jake. What kind of vibrator?
So
can you describe it?
The kind you might use in a bedroom.
That I might use, or you might use?
That you might.
Okay.
So the Truth About Guns article, clearly it says we need to ban sex toys lest they be used for nefarious purposes.
Oh, that kind of vibrator. Oh, Jake, it's just so easy.
Jake, you're blushing.
Yeah. So if you'd like to help the show to continue its,
Can you buy sex toys on Amazon?
Matter of fact, you can. If you'd like to use our Amazon affiliate link to spice up your sex life, go to firearmsradio.tv/Amazon.
I'm looking at a Hitachi wand right now.
Josh. But you cannot get a Confederate flagged covered vibrator on Amazon.
Those are offensive.
Those are all gone.
Offensive sex toys. Yeah.
But 10-year-olds can search for vibrators on Amazon. Yes, they can.
But I just launched a new business, ConfederateFlagVibrator.com. Head over there.
Killing it.
And remember, belts are gun parts, so watch out there, Amazon.
Belts? What?
I'll tell you later.
Okay. So Patreon, you can support This Week in Guns by going to patreon.com/week, and also firearmsradio.tv, Firearms Radio also has a Patreon program where you can support the network as a whole. Go over to patreon.com/FRN, and don't forget to head on over to Patriot Patch Company, patriotpatch.co, and pre-order the Huckleberry Patch. Well, that brings us to end of the show. John, what's going on over at the Gun Collective? Tell us about your new news show.
So the Gun Collective, we just put out the second episode of TGC News. It's kind of a much like this show. It's an entertaining look at the gun world. Just a few stories a week, and we try to keep it light and fun and moving. And we also do some product review type segments, some little spotlights and user questions and all that kind of stuff. And it's presented in a way that is really easy to watch, I think. And the quality that we're shooting it at, the film quality alone is, at least from what I've been told, is better than what you see on TV. And that's not my words, that's the words of people that have watched the show. And the Gun Collective itself it's going to grow, and we've got a lot of show ideas. There are some big things in the works, but much like the news show, we want to make sure that it's ready to rock before anybody sees it. We want to make sure that we're not starting from ground zero in the show. We want that quality as soon as you guys are able to watch it, be at the top of its game. So if you want to, head over to YouTube and search for TGC News. The channel is still so new that it's not showing up in their search results if you check out The Gun Collective. But you can also find us at The Gun Collective on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that. There's always gun porn. There's always fun stuff happening. So definitely check us out.
Wait, quality from day one. That's like the polar opposite from this show. But yeah. No, good stuff.
Zero every week.
Well, we do everything we can to make your efforts look awesome, John. But they really are awesome. I really enjoyed the first two episodes. You guys got to check it out.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that.
And Josh, 4 Guys Guns.
Four Guys Guns is struggling. I'm dealing with a new guy who's editing a lot of video for me, and it's just slow going. And I'm afraid it's going to all come out at once, which is what I'm worried about. But no, lots of stuff going on. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. Again, I mean, this is I think where we were last year, and it's just another set of growing pains. So, looking forward to a very, very big fall. So, yes, we're preparing for that already. But not much else. You can follow us at 4 Guys Guns, all one word, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. What else am I on? YouTube, Periscope, Tumblr. Yeah.
Snapchat.
Oh, yeah, FGG Whitey at Snapchat. I have this one guy who sends me his daily poop. Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
I'm jumping on that.
Listen, I've been dying to see that ginger loving.
Oh gosh. Are you and every
Oh, you want to see Jake really get blushy?
All right, Ebs. House of Guns, House of Arms. What's up?
Fun stuff going on. House of Arms, we're kind of getting ready for hunting season around here, so inventory is up, and we had a visit last week. We were getting ready for a visit from the great Mike Bellum, a predecessor or a post-decessor, not predecessor too. Now I don't have the words right. P.O. Ackley's understudy, and spent the day Friday with him. Had a great time. Learned a ridiculous amount about trigger work and accuracy, and just doing things to rifles that you just don't even take into consideration on the inside in terms of moving parts and how you interact with the gun. Just really great information. My mind is flooded with awesome stuff. So that was a lot of fun. As it relates to House of Arms, specifically our online store, specializing in single-shot rifle platforms, and then House of Guns, I've got some cool stuff in. Got some uppers coming in. Got a dissipator, actually a mock dissipator upper in from Wyndham Weaponry, which has been a fun little shooter. Have a 300 Blackout SBR upper that's really close to being done, so that I can do some testing with Lehigh Defense Ammo, and I got some super gnarly 300 Blackout stuff from them, subsonic 174 grain and 194 grain, both expandable stuff at subsonic speed, and then a CQ round that is, listen to this, if you're into 300 Blackout, you understand that velocity is not a big thing. Even the supersonic stuff, you're looking at 1,800 to 2,100 feet per second. Well, they make a 78 grain. It is aluminum and brass, or not aluminum brass, aluminum and copper, and it's traveling at 2,800 feet a second, which is blazing for a 300 Blackout. So we're going to be doing some testing of that, have ballistics gel on the way. Pretty psyched to be able to get out and do that, and busy time, like Josh said, a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. We just got patches in, so House of Guns morale patches are about to be available for purchase. We're still sorting out the kinks with that, but there will be a link to do so at houseofguns.com, and then watch our social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, HAUS of Guns, at all those places, and you'll be able to find out how to buy.
Very cool. Billy Johnson admits the noise. Where can people connect with you?
I've been laying low, Jake, for a while now. You can always find me on social media, Facebook, Twitter. I tend to be on Twitter a little more lately than Facebook, and YouTube's a little quiet right now. Since my Kickstarter campaign did not reach its goal, I've just kind of been holding off on that right now. Still working on some things for the future, and obviously still working with my company and working on some future things that we'll have out in the fall with that. But as far as the the rights-based commentary, I've been taking a break from it, and you never know when I'm going to pop up with a new video, or if something just ticks me off just enough in the media, I'll go down and record a video. But it's something I've been taking a break from lately. So if there's any angel investors out there that want to invest in my documentary that did not get funded on Kickstarter, you can go and still watch the promo video and contact me on social media. But that's about it, Jake.
Well, there's a time and a season for everything. So that'll
There
work.
it is.
I'm not encouraged by that, Jake.
I didn't mean to encourage you, Ebbs. That wraps it up. Leave your feedback by commenting on the bottom of the YouTube video you're watching now or at the show notes at thisweekinguns.com/123. Leave us your review on iTunes, thisweekinguns.com. Look for the iTunes link. We have a new website, actually, at thisweekinguns.com. Check that out. And contribute to the show by shopping our Amazon affiliate link. And that's about a wrap. Thank you, John.
Thanks for having me, man. It's always fun.
Thank you, Josh.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, Jake.
Thank you, Ebbs.
Thanks, buddy. Good times.
And thank you, Billy.
Thanks, Jake. Take care, man.
All right, that's a wrap. We'll see you next week.